Hey guys, so for this week, we are going to be focusing on the art element called shape. Okay, so each week we're going through a different art element, and just like last week, you're going to see some similarities. You're going to have 4 different project options that you can choose from. Now, all 4 of them tie in with the element of shape, and you get to choose which one you like the idea of best. So your 4 options are the agama graph, it's a tongue twister to say, the font creation, the radial mandala, or the shapes creativity challenge. So each one has their own kind of difficulty level. So really look through them and see what's going to be best for you and your skill level. The mandala one is going to be the one that will take the longest to do. So I'd make sure if you decide to do that one that you make sure you're going to have enough time to complete it. The shapes creativity challenge and the font creation might be a little bit faster, and the agama graph kind of in the middle, a little bit longer. Really depends on how you decide to do the project. So it's your choice. Look through them, decide what you want to do. Remember, you have the full week to get this project done. I really recommend that you start looking through the videos today, decide which one you want to do, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day you get started on the project. Spread it out throughout the week. It's going to make your life easier. When you're all done with the project for the week, don't forget you need to go into the reflection, which is attached in this assignment, and fill it out. So it asks some questions about your project. As an art teacher, I'm very adamant you have to think about your projects when you finish them. It's not just, oh, I drew it, done, move on to the next thing. You have to actually stop and think, okay, what did I make? What was my process? Is there anything I should have done differently? What was really hard to do? What was really easy? Do I like how it turned out? Would I do things differently next time? When you reflect back on your art, you're going to have better success with it in the end. Okay, so have fun checking out the different projects this week. I'm going to continue on with this video and talk to you about the element of shape. So that way you'll go into the projects with lots of knowledge and you'll understand exactly what to do. All right, guys, this week's project is all about the art element called shape. Now, shape is something you're probably very familiar with, but you might mistake it with form a lot, which will be next week's. So shape is 2D objects. So let's talk about what that means. First off, what is 2D? 2D means two-dimensional. Two-dimensional objects go right and left with their width, and up and down their height. So their height and width, those are the 2 dimensions. If we think back to line was only 1 dimension. It's just right and left, width. So for our 2D objects, our shapes, we go both right and left and up and down. But you notice there is no forward and back because that's the 3rd dimension that will come in for form. Let's talk about examples for this. Shapes fall into one of 2 different categories. This is how we organize them to make them easier to understand. One of them is called geometric shapes. The other one is called organic shapes. So we have 2 different categories. Now, they have some very distinct things that make them different. Let's start with geometric. Geometric shapes are shapes that are defined by math. So these are the ones that have usually straight sides and angles to them. They're your shapes that you think about all the time in your math class, because saying geometric should sound like the word geometry. So these are going to be your squares, triangles, rectangles, pentagons, hexagons, trapezoids. Any of those are all geometric shapes, usually straight edges and corners. The other type of shape is organic. Now, organic shapes are a lot more free-form. They are found in nature. So these shapes are going to be with curved lines, You rarely see straight lines in organic shapes. They're a lot more random. Think of them more as your blobs, things like that. Things you find in nature, because nature, organic, they kind of tie together. Now, there are two shapes that don't follow the rules, because they technically are both geometric and organic. Those shapes are the circle and the oval. They are technically both. They are defined by math, so you use a math problem to create them. However, they are both found in nature as well, and they don't have those straight sides. So circle and ovals technically are both categories. They are both geometric and organic. Okay, so the main things to remember with shapes, they're 2 dimensions. They only have height and width. There is no depth to them. So you cannot pick them up. Okay, so shapes have to be on something else. They are drawn, they are painted, things like that. You cannot make a 3-dimensional shape because then they turn into forms, which is another week. So I hope that helps you understand the art element of shape a little bit better. This week's projects are all based off of shapes. So there's going to be no shading. It's all about these flat objects and ways that you can make art out of them. Okay, so you guys know what shape is now. Now go out there and look through the different projects, decide which one you want to do, and get going on it. Remember, you can always find ways to make these projects fit better into your personality. I really like it when people get creative, as long as you tie in with that project and those skills we're trying to focus on somehow. Good luck with those projects. Can't wait to see what you guys did.